Let me start by asking everyone here a quick question. How many decisions do you make per day? Well, from small things like what to eat for lunch, should I go to the gym, or simply making plans for the weekend, I think the short answer to the question is a lot, right? And over time, research has suggested that we make a mind-blowing 35,000 decisions in a day. And Inc.com went even further to say that it is way more for founders, which really isn't surprising. But the real question is, what if you have to make decisions that are unpopular but right? Good afternoon. My name is Joshua, and I'm one of the co-founders of Sunrate, an intelligent global payment and treasury management platform. I'm very honored to be invited here today to one of the world's largest fintech festival and global community to share a rather controversial topic on how to make decisions that are unpopular but right. Well, I know that seated among us, my audience, are the likes of aspiring founders and investors. And I'm sure that you are all able to relate with me when I say that we make so many decisions on a daily basis that are both strategic and tactical. The problem, some of them weren't that easy to make because they were considered to be unpopular in that sense. And since the inception of Sunrate, I think 6 years ago, we have made countless of decisions with regard to the business. But the result today has indicated the majority of the decisions that we make thankfully turn out to be the right call. So today, I would like to share the 3 how that I think really helped myself and my team to be able to make such decisions. The first advice I'm going to give is really always avoid both the internal and external noises. I still remember vividly the first welcome advice I received at day 1 of my INSEAD MBA life was stop being formal. Just so that every one of us is light here, formal means fear of missing out. To be honest, I think this is one of the best, though simplest, advice one can receive. I personally have witnessed so many of my friends, my peers, they keep on falling into this formal trap. People always want to be part of what others are doing and constantly worried about being left out. And another similar trap is peer pressure. We all have that. And then, on this trap, we as entrepreneurs, we constantly receive so much information every day that such will cause us to always evaluate ourselves excessively and cause anxiety within. And then, especially during the first years of those traps, or the first years of those entrepreneur journey, avoiding such traps is particularly important because we do not have so much capital to support our failure. I know, in reality, it is tough because we have investors asking us maybe why our peers are doing this, but we don't. We have internal employees and sales asking us why our competitor can offer this product, this service, this pricing, but we can't. And there's media, there is market reporting on certain industry booming trends where we're always suspicious that maybe our competitors are allocating resources into. So what shall we do? For me, I personally will always evaluate in depth on each choice in terms of its market cap, in terms of its potential barriers, its resource allocation, and most importantly, what me and my team is best at. Trust me, genetics really matters because what we are good at, our competitors may not. And we as founders with limited resource, we must define our own core competitiveness. And once we know it, we hold on to it and we trust ourselves. Because I know that seated amongst us, we are all different. We all have our own edges. And I think we can all define our own ways to succeed. And the second advice today I'm going to share is really always be cautious about uncertainties and changes within oneself. We often say ideal is full, but reality is skinny. We all had our own dreams of building something from scratch into a business and a company that is meaningful and is valuable. But there isn't always a straight line to success without tremendous amount of pivoting. But along the growth of our business, when we have some initial success, we become more confident, right? We doubt less on the decisions that we make. And somehow we think that we are better now. We are stronger. And we should be bolder. But instinctively, we start taking bigger risks. However, there's so many uncertainties out there that may suddenly hit us. So sometimes I would rather choose a more conservative approach, even though it may seem to be more an unpopular decision. Because personally, I think such unpopular approach has helped me, or at least give myself more buffer when I face sudden falls. And then in order to do so, I think there are two things that we have to be very mindful of. First is MVP. And MVP, I'm going to say it again, is MVP. Regardless that we are setting up a new sales team, we are trying to launch a new product feature, we are going to open a new business line. Please always be mindful and apply the minimal viable product rule. And always make sure there are sufficient proof of initial success before you scale. I personally think MVP is the golden rule that we must be mindful. And second is really adapt into the new norm. I think in the past few years, we have all witnessed so many events that considered to be black swan. Things that were so big, yet so unpredictable, and also unexplainable by probabilities. And I still remember back in 2015, when I was planning to start my startup, I was told that always keep a minimum 12-month cash flow, which is supposed to be healthy. But what about today? Is 12 months still sufficient? I do not have the answer. But I think sometimes to be conservative is good. So when people tell you to go big, to go bold, maybe reconsider it. Even though it may seem unpopular sometimes, but then it may turn out to be a much more responsible choice and decision for yourself, for your employees, for your customers, and also for your investors. And last but not least, my third advice is really to look into the long term, to think about your goals and your values. When I was told, or when I was invited to give this speech today, I was told to really follow my heart. So, to take out certain things that is all about my personal experience and my mindful thoughts. So I spent some time. I thought about, all the founders I've met, all the stories I read, and also all the things I witnessed. And then I looked inside myself again and asked myself, am I still on the same track that I was aiming to do together with my partners? It may not seem exactly the same as what I've imagined at the beginning, but am I still building the same value? And thankfully, I think the answer is yes. Of course, we all came from different backgrounds. We're all different. We all have our own motivation when we started our company. Regardless, it's about social impact, it's about bringing innovation into a certain industry, or simply it's about wealth and legacy. It doesn't really matter because we're different. And the way we define our own success differs too. So today, during this market winter, it is even more difficult maybe for us to make some of the decisions. It may be related to employees layoff. It may be related to fundraising. and it may be related to some majority change in our own business model. But regardless the decision that you are making, please be mindful of what you really care and what is that you truly believe. Because I think once we define who we are, what we're going to do, where our vision lies, we should really stick to it. So as I conclude my sharing today as a founder, I know that seated amongst the seated audience today, that we all come along from different journeys and different paths. So I hope that when you are having maybe a tough time making some of the unpopular decisions, my sharing today can give you a little bit of guidance to help you to stay mindful, to stay cautious, and to achieve more right than wrong. Again, thank you very much for your time. I wish you all a great success, and then continue making many, many right decisions. Thank you.